My family and food is my passion, and shopping for the very best fresh ingredients is what makes all the difference. Join me as we go on a journey of heartwarming food filled with mouth-watering dishes, bound to get those taste buds tingling. Welcome to my kitchen. Today we're going to be making a no-fuss, simple, stylish supper that's packed with deliciousness and bound to hit that spot. We're whipping up a chilled tomato gaspacho, a juicy herbed rack of lamb, a broccoli salad with a poppy seed dressing, and finishing with a naughty nougat cheesecake. Rack of lamb is a delicious, beautiful cut of meat that's very elegant when served at a dinner party. It's also delicious for an everyday supper because it's quite simple. So I want to pack this with lots and lots of herbs and give it lots of flavor. It's such a quick, easy cooking time. There's really nothing to it. We're going to rub it with this paste of herbs and roast it in the oven and finish it off with a grilling. So the rack has quite a lot of fat. What I like to do when I use a rack is trim it as much as possible. I know that the fat should stay on to give it the flavor, but there's a limit to how much fat we actually need. So it's quite lean. You need to ask for them to French cut the lamb, so that means clean off the top chops, and then they will also cut the individual chops at the bottom, which makes it much easier for carving. So these are actually rib chops. They are expensive, but sometimes I like to spend a little bit more on the actual ingredient because it's such a fuss-free, simple dish to make. So I have trimmed off quite a lot of the fat and just left this little piece here to show you that we want a little bit, not too much. We're going to make a paste of beautiful herbs with a little bit of olive oil, some garlic, some seasoning salt, any seasoning salt. I've got some cumin and paprika for color, fresh Italian parsley, basil, and of course some mint. I'm going to do it in a machine because it's just quick and simple. Sometimes I like to leave all the stalks on the parsley. It adds lots and lots of flavor. And a good handful of basil. And the mint also, quite a lot, because of course mint and lamb go really, really well together. We'll just add a bit of rosemary. So we've got basil, mint, parsley, and rosemary, all going very beautifully together with lamb. Right, now for the garlic, a little bit of minced garlic, some seasoning salt, about 2 teaspoons, depending on how many racks you're doing. And we need some cumin. I'm going to do 2 teaspoons of paprika. And this is a really nice, good extra virgin olive oil. Some salt and pepper. Not too much salt because I'm going to actually season the meat afterwards once I've put the paste on. Lamb like this is quite deceiving because sometimes we think it will take such a little time. It's a chop after all. Surely it should take only 10-15 minutes. But in actual fact, when they all join, they take a good hour to cook. And I like to finish it off just under the grill to give you that beautiful, crisp, gorgeous color. So we're going to spread it on. We want to do it all over on the bottom of the lamb and the sides. So we're turning them with the meat side down, bone facing up for the first part of the cooking. And my oven's preheated to 180 degrees, and I like to always roast on the bottom rack of the oven for about 30 minutes. And now let's get started with our cheesecake. A cheesecake is something that everybody will eat. It's money well spent, expensive, but everybody will finish the whole thing. I like using a biscuit base of tennis biscuits, some sugar and butter, and I like to bake that first before I put the filling in. Then our filling is eggs, plus egg yolks, which give it a really beautiful color, a little bit of lemon juice to balance the sugar, some flour, of course the cream cheese, and here we've got about 3 cups of cream cheese, and I've added some creme fraiche, which is really thick sour cream, and we're going to top it off with some more cream cheese just to make it even more decadent and naughty, and that we're going to add a little bit of caster sugar too. So let's get started with our base. The tennis biscuits need to be crushed. It's about 150 grams of tennis biscuits. We're then going to add some sugar and some melted butter. And here you always want to use unsalted butter. It's about 60 grams of butter. And process that until it just binds. So you don't want the biscuits to be too wet from the butter, nor too dry, otherwise they're not going to hold. And this is just the right consistency. Press them into the bottom of a springform tin, and we want to put it on the base without spraying the tin. The tin should not be sprayed because your biscuits won't stick. And I want to bake on 180 degrees for about 10-15 minutes till it's really nice and golden. Cheesecakes must bake on a gentle temperature. They should never bake on a high temperature, otherwise they crack in the middle. So we've just pressed that firmly onto the base. It holds quite nicely, and we'll pop it in the oven. Right, let's get started with our filling. So the base is the cream cheese, and depending on how thick the cream cheese is, it's a good idea to always blend that first so that the cream cheese doesn't have lumps. That's perfect. About 1/4 cup of flour, about 2 tablespoons of lemon juice, a little bit of vanilla essence, always for flavor. We're adding about 1 cup of caster sugar, 4 jumbo eggs, plus 2 yolks. And we'll just process that quickly. Right, that's perfect. So I'm going to add this later and let that crust cool after it comes out of the oven. So the topping is rich and indulgent and just as fattening, and that's the beauty about the whole thing. We don't worry about any calories here. So I've got some cream cheese mixed with sour cream or creme fraiche, but I need to add a little bit of caster sugar just to give me a gorgeous sweet and sour flavor. About 3 tablespoons of caster sugar. And this can go in the fridge. My cheesecake crust is in the oven. The rack of lamb smells absolutely delicious and is roasting. After the break, we'll be making a chilled tomato gaspacho, our broccoli salad with poppy seed dressing. And if you really like these recipes, you can pick them up on the Home Channel website. Welcome back. Today I'm showing you how easy it is to make a simply stylish summer supper. We've already got our rack of lamb in the oven with a herb crust. We've made our cheesecake crust, and now we're going to start our broccoli salad with a poppy seed dressing. We're going to blanch the vegetables in order because the broccoli cooks longer than the beans and the asparagus, but they can all go into one pot. So I've got a pot of boiling water ready. We want to add salt into that. It holds the color and keeps the chlorophyll in the vegetables. And in a salad, that's what you want, that gorgeous color. So we start with the broccoli. They need about 5 to 6 minutes. And these are very fine green beans, so they only need 4 to 5 minutes. So we start with that. The asparagus only need about 2 to 3 minutes. Always cut off the ends, just the little bottom piece right at the bottom. And then we're going to cut them a bit smaller, so kind of that size, so that they're like tips. And we'll set these aside ready for when they go in the pot. Some spring onion goes into our salad and some rosa tomatoes. And the rosa tomatoes we'll just cut in half for color. And then our dressing has mayonnaise, some mustard powder, poppy seeds of course, white vinegar, normal white spirit vinegar, the nuts are for decoration, some sugar in the dressing, and a little bit of oil. And here I'm using ordinary sunflower oil. I don't want any full flavored oils. For color, we're going to use some pomegranates, fresh pomegranates, and some dried cranberries, and that will just finish off the whole dish. So the spring onion needs to be sliced quite thinly. It's just going to get sprinkled onto everything. So as thin as you can. I want to check my broccoli. The color's looking really beautiful. We can add the beans now. Make sure that they're in the water. So let's cut our tomatoes. And let's make the dressing. So I've got my oil, vinegar, sugar, mustard powder, poppy seeds, and some mayonnaise. And that gives me a beautiful creamy dressing. Give that a little whisk, a little bit of salt. I need to check my vegetables. Beautiful, they're looking fabulous. Let's add the asparagus for the last part of the cooking. And that will take exactly 2 to 3 minutes. Once the vegetables are blanched, they should go into ice water immediately to set the color, and then we'll dry them, and then we're ready to assemble the salad. And I'm going to just pop them onto the platter like that. We're going to decorate with our pomegranates. And all of these things just add gorgeous color. We've got some cranberries. Let's do the tomatoes first. And we don't want to overcrowd this. Some spring onion. And last but not least, my flaked almonds. Little bit of dressing. In fact, the dressing should be just before you serve it because it will change the color of the vegetables as it sits from the vinegar. And that is my broccoli salad with poppy seed dressing. Quite yummy and delicious. I could tuck in immediately. Gazpacho is a delicious chilled tomato soup and perfect for a summer supper. We're starting with our tomatoes, which are the base of the soup, and you want really bright, beautiful red tomatoes. I've also got some red pepper, a little bit of yellow pepper for taste. We've got some onion, bit of garlic, our thickening agent, which is white bread crusts removed, and some tomato juice. Plus, we're going to add a little bit of olive oil, not a lot, and some red wine vinegar. I'm just going to cut my tomatoes into big chunks and throw everything in. So you need about 750 grams of tomatoes. Then we're going to add our red pepper. And that too can just be cut into chunks. About 1 red pepper. And if you don't like peppers, you could leave them out completely. Some yellow pepper as well. Not green. Green gives you a very, very strong taste. We've got our onion. Some garlic. I'm just going to break this bread up. Pop it in there. So we'll start blending this. Then I'll add my tomato juice, olive oil, and red wine vinegar. We'll add a little bit more tomato juice. And I'm going to leave some in case I don't need it. I want a really nice, thick, beautiful soup. And of course, salt and pepper. Now, the beauty of the soup is it has to be put into the fridge. It has to be made ahead of time because you need it to be really, really cold. So my soup is ready. Let's chop up the vegetables to decorate. And you don't need a lot. A little bit of red pepper. Always cut the red pepper on the inside of the pepper because it's easier to cut than from the skin. Your knife generally cuts much easier from inside rather than out. So I'm going to put all my veggies on a separate plate, just in separate sections, so people can help themselves to whatever topping they like. A little bit of yellow pepper. I've got some egg that I've already chopped, so we'll put that onto the platter as well. Let's just tidy it up. And we just need some spring onion for the color, of course. It's perfect. And I've got a few croutons for that crunch. So my decoration is ready. I'm going to put this in the fridge to chill and we'll plate up later. So there you have it. Our soup's chilling in the fridge. We've made our salad. The rack of lamb is in the oven. And all that's left to do is complete our cheesecake. Tasty doesn't have to be complicated, and that's exactly the kind of meal we're doing today. Simple, stylish, quick and easy. We've already made a chilled gaspacho, a broccoli salad with a poppy seed dressing. Our rack of lamb is almost done, and now we're going to complete our delicious naughty nougat cheesecake. So the crust is made, it's baked and it's rested. It's cooled so I can fill it. I'm going to put it onto a baking tray, just in case anything leaks. We pour the filling into the crust, which is a beautiful golden brown. And I've lowered the temperature in the oven to about 140 degrees. You always want to bake a cheesecake on a low temperature to avoid the cracking. And what I always do is an hour in the oven with the oven on, then leave it in the oven for about another hour. So there's no major change in temperature. It rests and it's beautiful on top. All we need to do now is add a few pieces of yummy, delicious, naughty nougat inside. So we're going to just chop into little pieces. In fact, I can even break them in. And let them kind of drop down, because it'll be your luck that you can get that gorgeous piece with the nougat inside. And I just like to poke it in, because you can see it doesn't really sink. And that's it. We'll keep this for the top, and back into the oven it goes. Be quite gentle. My salad's ready. All I need to do is pour my soup into a bowl. I've got the accompaniments. It's thick, chunky, full of flavor. And I'm going to just spoon a few decorations on top. And that's what really makes it look beautiful. Some spring onion, a little bit of egg, a few croutons in the middle, and to finish it, a little sprig of basil. My cheesecake's baked in the oven. It's been in the fridge chilling, and now it's ready to decorate. It needs to go in the fridge to chill and be firm, so that when I release the springform it doesn't collapse. I'm going to run a little palette knife around the edge, just to make sure nothing sticks to the tin. And because I've got it on this paper, I can lift it completely off the base. So release the springform. It looks gorgeous. We want to put it onto a platter before we put the topping on top. So I've got this fabulous lifter. It does it all in one shot and ensures that you don't break the cake. And now I'm ready to top it with this decadent cream cheese, creme fraiche, and caster sugar topping. It's only about 20,000 calories in a serving. But hey, what's life all about if you can't enjoy really delicious food? And I'm just going to finish it off with the nougat. And that is my naughty nougat cheesecake. There we go, let's get our lamb out the oven. I've just finished grilling it. It looks fabulous. My meat is perfectly cooked. It's juicy and plump. Don't let the lovely juices in here go to waste. So we're going to spoon it over the meat. Just give it a beautiful color. And decorate with some fresh mint. We hope today's meal of chilled tomato soup, broccoli salad with poppy seed dressing, herb rack of lamb, and naughty nougat cheesecake inspires you to cook up a storm. Catch us next time where I'll show you some quick and easy ways with chicken. We'll be making some baby lemon spatchcock chickens, some Thai chicken and basil spring rolls. We'll be making honey mustard chicken breasts with a Caesar salad, and finishing off with chocolate and strawberry crepes. Don't forget, all the recipes are available on the Home Channel website. Stay inspired and keep it simple.